This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by GoDaddy. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the episode of Ask the Buffalo. I am your host, John Rettinger, in the Ask the Buffalo chair. It's the show where you can ask me any question you've got for world of technology and sometimes outside. This week, we're going to talk about what we do with phones after we review them, how I prepare for videos personally. We're talking about the Note 4 and what's next for the iPhone. So Ask the Buffalo, let's start asking. The first question comes from our fuzzy friend Doge, who asks, "Hi John, what do you do with the phones after your tests and reviews?" We either do really one of two things with them. Either we send them back right away. Our phones usually come with a 3-week loan period. Or if it's a flagship device, we'll ask to hold on to it for the duration of that phone's lifespan. We use it for comparisons for other devices, we use it in videos, and also just for benchmarking purposes. But once sort of the next generation comes out, those phones go right back to the PR agency. Unless, of course, that we buy them, then we can either keep them or we'll sell them after the fact. But all the phones go back. We don't really keep or hoard much here. So all the phones you see, we don't just have closets of flagship phones that get released. They all go back to the PR agencies. Next question comes from @AbeBlogget, who asks, @John4Lakers, how do you prepare for your videos? So it depends. Mark and I have very different ways to prepare for videos. Almost all of my videos are totally unscripted. I'm not the best reading from a script. Usually when things just come out of my mind and come out my mouth is when I'm at my best. But things like Ask the Buffalo, for example, I've got the questions just written on in front of me on a prompter, but that's really it. The answers kind of come out of my head. When I'm doing reviews or comparisons, generally I'll put an outline. So let's say I'm reviewing, whatever, the Galaxy Note 4, we'll talk about in a minute. You know, I'll put a disclaimer, would be what it'll say, and then it'll say screen, and then it'll say battery life and camera, and then I sort of go through and fill those in. I've already sort of done the review already in my head, and I'll go and just talk. Mark does sort of the opposite approach. Mark does a lot of scripts, and then he'll sort of do voiceovers with heavy B-roll on it, just sort of different ways to do the same type of video. But for me, I've always worked out well just to sort of talk, which is probably why some of my videos get a little rambly. So hopefully that helped answer your question. Next question comes from @NinjaExplosions, @John4Lakers. What do you think of the Galaxy Note 4 leak? I think it looks exactly like everybody expected it to look like. A little bit bigger and unmistakably Samsung. The Galaxy Note 3 was sort of a pretty iconic device. It sort of had a new fake leather back to it. And it was sort of just a small evolution on the Galaxy Note 2. Seems to be the same thing with the Galaxy Note 4. With most flagship devices, there's big hype and speculation it's gonna have crazy screens on the sides, all that kind of stuff. Not gonna happen. A little better display, a little better processor and that kind of stuff. But look, certainly if you like big phones, you like the Galaxy Note line, you probably like what's gonna come next. We stopped the questions for one quick sec to thank the good peeps at GoDaddy. If you always had an idea for a website and you just want to create it, you can start today with GoDaddy. It's just $1.99 per domain. Enter promo code 199TECHNO at checkout. If you've got that idea you've always wanted to start it, now is the ideal time. Some limitations though might apply, so check out the website for details. Back to the questions. And last but not least comes from @J4MessyClass, who asked, @John4Lakers, what will Apple's next big feature on the iPhone be? Very good question. Here's what I'm hoping. This is all just sort of hope, nothing really to back it up concretely. I'm hoping to have some sort of NFC built in, not just be able to transfer pictures and files, but for mobile payments. Apple's been way, way behind. There are cases you could put on that'll enable ISIS payments or even Google Wallet, but Apple has lagged way behind on that. I'm also hoping for some sort of wireless charging. Hopefully it's the Qi standard, but Apple loves to go proprietary, so probably be some whatever Apple Air Charge. I love just charging my phone wirelessly, and I'm hoping that Apple will do that. I know before you guys jump down my throat and be like, Android had those for years, it's true. Android has definitely had those for years. I'm hoping Apple is going to catch up on those features and sort of offer them to the masses, probably with a very fresh, glossy coat of paint, a little bit of lipstick, and try and call it sexy like the brand new. But iOS users have been waiting for it, and hopefully they're going to get it this generation. Thank you guys for watching that episode of Ask the Buffalo. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to get a question feature, we make it super easy. Every Tuesday on technobuffalo.com, we put up a call for questions. Just leave them in the comments. Otherwise, any day of the week, send it to me at Twitter @John4Lakers or at @TechnoBuffalo. Just use the hashtag AskTheBee and ask your questions. We'll pick between 3 and 5 questions every week, and maybe you can get featured on an upcoming episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Until next week, I'm John Rettinger. Talk to you guys then. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to check out the latest from the world of consumer electronics from people who absolutely love it, hit the big subscribe button right down below.